This is the Eggs Benedict that you know and love. Canadian bacon, poached egg, gorgeous lemony hollandaise. But you know your girl Keisha's here, and we're about to kick it up 5 notches. It's Sunday morning. You worked a long, hard week. Maybe last night you went out and a little too much. Something is calling your name at your favorite brunch spot, but no ma'am, keep those keys in your pocket. I'm going to show you how to make Eggs Benedict my way. But before I make these Eggs Benny, I want you to subscribe to the Spruce Eats. We're going to start with Hollandaise. That is the foundational, it's one of the mother sauces. And if you can make this, you can make anything. Let's begin. Starts with an egg. Not just an egg, it's an egg yolk. So let's crack this bad boy open. Oh yeah, let's see if I can do that. Yeah, I did it.
Why just the yolk?
It's got all the fat in it. Like essentially we're making a mayonnaise. I'm gonna add a pinch of salt, a little bit of white pepper. It's got that funk to it that you really can't tell. And for me, mustard powder, just for that little bit of tang. I like it in mac and cheese, I like it in most things. And then the star of our dish, the lemon. Now, I am not a waster. This gorgeous lemon zest needs to get its full life. So I'm gonna just zest it before I juice it. And you see how I have it upside down? Therefore, it doesn't get everywhere and it's easy to kind of collect. While I might not use all the zest, I just keep this around my house, let it dry out. I put it in some salt, put it in some sugar. All right, so now we have our zested lemon. I'm gonna cut this sucker in half. Oh my gosh, I love lemon. Oh, got my squeezor. Yes. I'm gonna start with 2 teaspoons. You can always add more. You wanna whisk it up until it gets a little thick. Now listen, Hollandaise just seems daunting. It seems like the dauntingest most thing that you wanna do on a Sunday morning, but really it's super, super simple. You can't make this ahead of time, unfortunately. This is something you wanna make en minute because you just want it to be fresh and perfect. We're making this for Eggs Benedict, but if you have some asparagus that you like to roast off, some broccoli, steamed broccoli, some steamed Brussels sprouts, Hollandaise over the top of that, and then finish it with some like bacon lardons. I'm not mad at that. Okay, look, we've got a nice little texture up in here. So now what I've got going over here is I've got a little water and it's boiling. I wanna turn it down to low as possible. And here's the real trick. This is the thing that probably daunts people about Hollandaise is the breaking and this double boiler situation. Don't let it thwart you. It's super, super simple. Now, important thing to note, this bowl is not nesting inside of the pot. It is high above the pot, so we just have heat really right underneath it. You don't wanna get a bowl that just fits in and potentially touching the water on the bottom because you don't want any of that water to kind of spill in and break your sauce. So now here comes the interesting part. Butter! This is non-salted butter, okay? You wanna be able to control the salt. You're gonna drop it in, and you're just gonna keep whisking until it's melted. This is gonna take some time, but you know, if you were out last night and you need a little bit of a sweat going on before you dive into Eggs Benedict, guess what? This is it. Make sure you have a little mimosa on hand. Cheers, everyone. Or some coffee. And you just keep going. And make sure you get all the sides. Just don't whisk in the middle. I want you to whisk the whole bowl because you'll start to see like the yolk will start to cook a little bit if you don't really kind of incorporate it and get all that warm liquid around it. But by the end goal, you're gonna look for this kind of, almost like a custard. It's almost like a loose pudding. All right, so now look, we've got that butter. It's melted. I'm gonna take another one. And we're just gonna keep going until all this butter is melted. It's so satisfying too to know that you can make this mother sauce yourself. You know, you go to brunch. I know you go to brunch out there. I go to brunch out there. I live in New York City, but I don't want to stand on that line. If I can make the sucker at home, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make it at home. We're getting more of a custardy color. This texture to me is fine, but if it was just a little too thick, like if it was giving you mayonnaise vibes, you take a little bit of water at a time, you put it in, and make sure you whisk it good. Whisk it good. Da-na-na-na-na. Now we wanna get this off of the heat. I love the texture of this, but this is when you can add anything that you want to this, okay? I take some of that zest that we took off at the top and I put it in. Adds great texture, and the oils from the zest really punch up that lemon flavor. So I have that. I like black pepper. I like to see it in there. It just talks to me. So we have the white pepper in there, but black pepper, why not? Look at that. You always have to taste your food. Just don't be making food without tasting it. You have to taste it. Oh. Done. I'm just gonna put a little bit more lemon juice in there. I love this! And now you have your Hollandaise. You can put it back over your double boiler until you're ready to use it. Basic Eggs Benedict, okay. Boop, boop, boop. We gotta push it up. Gotta push it up. Now normally we would use Canadian bacon, but I'm feeling kind of special. And so today I'm going to see some food on my plate. That's right, I'm talking about seafood. I'm talking about lobster. Lobster, but not just any lobster. We're gonna swathe it and bathe it in butter and aromatics like celery and shallot, a little bit of thyme before we put it on the plate. So I have a pan over here. I'm gonna add some non-salted butter. Don't question me on the amount of butter because it's Sunday and this is what I am doing. I wanna get that in there. Listen, don't be afraid of your flame. You tell that flame what to do. Take it off of the flame. Get that butter melted, turn that down, because we're not cooking, we're just flavoring this lobster. I have some celery here, I have some shallots. Yes ma'am, turn it down really low, and you just wanna sweat them just a little bit. I'm gonna season them with a little bit of salt because I'm gonna use some Old Bay. I'm using lobster, but you can imagine this with lump crab, you can imagine it with shrimp, you can imagine it with scallops or anything, so that's happening. I'm gonna also add a little bit of black pepper because I love it. So now we're gonna cut up these lobsters. Gorgeous tails that have already been poached. Again, we're not cooking them, we're just warming them through. And I just wanna cut the tail down the middle. Listen, it's gorgeous lobster, don't kill it. We're not make it into mincemeat, but we are making chunks. So chopping up your proteins for your eggs Benedict is important because you're trying to create the perfect bite. I'm adding some more butter just because it kind of needs it. We've added something that has a different temperature, it's a little colder, so we're gonna have to re-season it a little bit. So I'm gonna put a little bit more Old Bay in here. Yes, ma'am. Old Bay is a fabulous seasoning. It's just a mixture of Creole spices, but thyme and seafood are like kissing cousins. They just go together. I'm gonna turn the heat off, and now we have what we need for our over-the-top eggs Benny. So we are in the home stretch. Here's the most important part to an eggs Benny is poaching the eggs. We're gonna start with room temperature eggs. The thing about eggs, if you're like me, they've been in the refrigerator for a little while maybe, and what happens is that the white starts to break down a little bit and water comes out. So when you have, if you ever tried a poached egg and you see those little wisp parts of it, that's that kind of watery part, and so we wanna get rid of it. The way to do it, crack your egg, and I'm gonna do it into a sieve. That kind of white part, that is not, that it's egg white, but it's egg white that's kind of broken down just a little bit. And I'm gonna slide it into a little bowl, a little ramekin. Just because I want the effort of putting it into the water, which I have not boiling. It is hot, you can see the steam coming from it, but I don't want anything to disturb the egg, and I wanna be able to slide the egg right in. So I'm gonna start up here in the 11 o'clock, and there it is. Now, it's dropped down to the bottom. No worries, the water's not agitated, and I'm just gonna keep going. Let's take another egg. Sometimes people use vinegar to make poached eggs, and that's a great thing because it helps the white to kind of congeal a little bit. I tend to not use it because if I'm not using a poached egg on something like a salad that has like a vinaigrette dressing, I think it actually distracts from the flavor of what we're trying to create here. I'm gonna do something at the 2 o'clock. Nice. 4 o'clock. No, 5 o'clock, whatever time it is. The point of a poached egg is a runny yolk, to swathe all of that business that's happening under it. And you know, it's Instagram worthy when that yolk just comes tumbling down into food nirvana. Last position, we're gonna go into the 7 o'clock. What I've got going on behind me is I've got my English muffins getting toasted and getting ready. Now these are gonna cook for about 3 or 4 minutes, but really it's up to you. Some people like a little bit more done, a little less done, whatever. What I love about Eggs Benedict is it just says, I think you're special. Okay, so our poached eggs are done. And I just wanna remind you, if it doesn't happen the first time, do it again. Nothing beats a fail but a try, you know? All right, so now you're gonna pull it out, gently tap the yolk. It should have a little bit of give to it, and that's perfect. You're gonna bring your slotted spoon over to a paper towel or a plate, and you're just gonna slide it off. And that's waiting for us. So we're gonna do that with the rest of the eggs. Okay, last one coming out. Hark, I hear English muffins about to pop up. The next up, normally would be Canadian bacon, but remember we've got that gorgeous lobster and butter and Old Bay and shallots and thyme and celery. So guess what? That sucker is going right down on it. If it falls off the side, more for you. But you know, you want to get it on there because you want that egg to just kind of bathe all over it. Now, before we put the eggs on, I want to do something to this hollandaise. It's a fabulous mother sauce, as is tangy, lemony, all the things. But because we have lobster on here, it calls for chives. And I'm just going to take it into the hollandaise. You're going to take your favorite egg, lay it on top. Delicate. Okay, are you ready for this? Come on, don't play. Oh, did you think I was done? What is it missing? Caviar. You have to say it softly, softly. There we go. Whoop. I have some mixed greens over here. Plop that on the plate. Oh, I'll put it back here. Let's put it back here. Eggs Benedict, we did it! With lobster, aromatics, poached egg, lemony Meyer lemon hollandaise, and caviar. And you have to use gold, because that's what it is. You deserve it. It's damn delicious. All of that stuff. This came together exactly as I hoped. It is the perfect plate of food on a Sunday morning. And lobster's not your jam? Okay, shrimp, crab meat, fish, salmon, whatever you want. Spinach, who cares? Put this together. So how do you like your eggs, Benny? I wanna know. Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the Spruce Eats.